From the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
A mother in court charged with abusing, torturing, and murdering her son, as the boy's family demands to know why the system couldn't save him.
Heather Barron allegedly told 911 dispatchers that her son fell just before he died.
Well, now she's facing multiple charges in the 10-year-old's death. And CBS 2's Lisa Siegel is live in Lancaster, where Barron just appeared in court. Lisa.
And I can tell you there were gasps and crying from family who were watching Barron and hearing everything as she appeared in court. Right now, we are at the criminal courts building in Lancaster, where, as I said, the mother and the boyfriend are both being charged with murder in the death of 10-year-old Anthony Avalos. They are being charged with everything from torturing the boy, including up to days before his death. In handcuffs, Heather Barron faced a judge in court on murder charges. The mother of 10-year-old Anthony Avalos is accused of killing her son. Her boyfriend, Karine Leyva, is also charged with murdering the boy. Detectives say the suspects tortured him in the days before his death. Now, Barron's arraignment was continued until Monday. Leyva is expected to appear Monday in court as well. Right now, he's under medical care. It was last Thursday when Anthony Avalos died. His mother said he accidentally fell, but investigators quickly ruled it as suspicious.
We're here for Anthony. We're going to stay focused on Anthony.
That was family and loved ones outside the court after Barron appeared. And earlier in the day, they gathered outside Lancaster's Department of Children and Family Services, holding signs and blasting DCFS for not protecting the boy from the alleged abuse.
Rest assured, my sweet baby boy, that you will always be loved, never forgotten.
Anthony's mom's estranged sister-in-law says she reported the abuse, but nothing happened. The family's lawyer, Brian Claypool, says he's seen proof of what the little boy went through.
He had deep bruising behind the back of his eyes.
They say Avalos should have been rescued by authorities after so many red flags.
We know of at least 16 reports to the LA County Department of Children and Family Services. But today, what we're asking for is more, because we have an incomplete picture.
And back here at the courts, the family is also demanding DCFS, LA County sheriffs, and the medical examiner release all records on Anthony and every child in that home. They also plan to sue. Now, if Anthony's mother and her boyfriend are charged with everything, they could face life in prison. Bail has been set for both of them at $2 million. Back to you.
Well, tonight we are learning even more about more shootings in a popular campground where an Irvine father was shot and killed inside of his tent last week. CBS 2's Amy Johnson is live near Malibu Creek State Park in Calabasas right now, where deputies are about to start a brand new effort looking for answers. Amy?
Well, Jeff, we are right around the corner from the entrance to the park, but the Sheriff's Department has sent out a notice that they would be here at this intersection between 5 and 7, handing out flyers with information about that deadly shooting in the park 1 week ago today. They weren't necessarily going to be warning people about the 8 shootings that have happened in the park, but more or less giving them information about that shooting, looking for more information.
I didn't know about that.
Jessica Ramos of Sun Valley came hiking at the Malibu Creek State Park, unaware of the fatal shooting that happened at the nearby campground, where investigators are still combing through the area looking for clues.
That's really scary because I didn't know about that, but it's got me like really surprised with this.
It was 1 week ago that 35-year-old Tristan Bodette was shot and killed in his tent. His 2 young daughters were with him, but not hurt.
For me, it didn't really seem like it was random. It seemed kind of personal and intentional. So maybe I'm wrong about that, but it didn't really scare me from coming here now.
But the LA County Sheriff's Department now says there were 4 shootings in the park between November 3rd of 2016 and July of 2017. And 3 more shootings were reported nearby in the Sheriff's Department's jurisdiction between July of 2017 and June 18th, just 4 days before the fatal shooting of Bodette.
I didn't know of it at all. I mean, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
While news seems to be trickling out now, Angel Perea didn't let it stop him from his hike.
Because I am concerned for my safety a little bit, but I came out here all this way, 2-hour drive, to go mountain climbing, so I'm going to do it.
And the hiking trails are still open, but the campground is closed. All of those shootings, all 8, reportedly happened between 2 in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning. Again, Sheriff's Department officials are trying to get information out, hoping that they can gain more information that will hopefully lead to an arrest. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Amy Johnson live for us tonight in Calabasas. Well, the body that washed ashore in San Pedro yesterday has been officially identified as Haley Downen. She was last seen Saturday on the shoreline trail in San Pedro. Now, the coroner has not confirmed a cause of death yet, but her family told us earlier this week that they suspect foul play. Downen was in San Pedro on Saturday, we're told, to visit a friend. Detectives are investigating.
LA police say they've solved a Mother's Day murder, but the family of one victim is not happy with how they did it. Officials announced today that Christian Macias was arrested thanks to tips from the community. He's accused of shooting 15-year-old Lamarian Unchurch and Monier Jackson in South LA. Jackson died 2 days later. His family accuses the LAPD of treating him like a suspect before he was taken to the hospital.
But I was told that he was handcuffed and placed into the patrol car, and while being shot, he had a gunshot wound to his buttocks and his abdomen section.
The LAPD says it is looking into that accusation.
Well, the man prosecutor is accused of a newsroom massacre in Maryland, charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder.
Now here's where things stand today. As he sits in a jail cell this evening, 38-year-old Jared Ramos has been put on a suicide watch. President Trump offered a statement of support for journalists, saying they should be free from the fear of being violently attacked while doing their jobs. A vigil for the victims is happening right now in Annapolis.
CBS 2's Kenneth Craig brings us up to speed on the case against Jared Ramos.
Well, Pat and Jeff, so far police say the suspect is not cooperating with their investigation, but they really do not need him in order to move forward with this case. They already have a mounting case against him, including more evidence found at his home linking him to his plan.
Jared Ramos is behind bars, held on 5 counts of first-degree murder.
The fellow was there to kill as many people as he could kill.
Prosecutors say the 38-year-old hunted down employees at the office of the Capital Gazette Thursday afternoon and opened fire with the shotgun.
We brought to the judge's attention the evidence that suggested a coordinated attack, the barricading of a back door, and the use of a tactical approach.
They say he planned to escape when police arrived and found him hiding under a desk.
Within 2 minutes, they were pushing in on the suspect and starting to get him cornered and not let him hurt anybody else.
Even though they became the story, the journalists who survived continued to do their jobs. This morning, they still published their daily paper with the front page about the horror that unfolded inside their newsroom.
Ramos had a bitter history with the Capital Gazette. In 2012, he sued the paper for defamation for publishing a story about his harassment conviction involving a former high school classmate. He lost the suit and then began harassing journalists.
In May of 13, we did have a situation where online threatening comments were made.
Police say the Capitol did not want to exacerbate the situation and ultimately decided not to pursue criminal charges. 4 journalists and a sales assistant were killed in the shooting. The city of Annapolis is holding a tribute and vigil in their honor tonight.
In addition to the vigils across the region tonight, there is a growing memorial outside of the newspaper's building. You can see it across the road over my shoulder behind me. Police have finished their investigation inside the building, so they still work to piece all of this together. I'm Kenneth Craig reporting in Annapolis, Maryland. Back over to you in LA.
Well, there will be much more on the Maryland newspaper shooting on the CBS Evening News with Jeff Glor. That's at 6:30 right here on CBS 2.
Developing news, disgraced former sports doctor Larry Nassar has now been charged with 6 counts of sex abuse in Texas. A former gymnastics trainer also charged today. And those charges stem from an investigation of the training center run by former Team USA coaches Bella and Marta Caroli. Carolis were not charged. Nassar is currently in a Michigan prison, serving a 175-year sentence for abusing hundreds of young women and girls.
And developing news now, President Trump says he will announce his Supreme Court nominee by July 9th. The president says 2 women are among the people being considered to replace Anthony Kennedy. The California conservative, who often swung to the left on social issues, announced earlier this week that he will retire at the end of July.
Following China, Mexico, and the European Union's Well, Leeds Canada today announced that billions of dollars in retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. Some of the American items on Canada's list are Florida orange juice, ketchup, lawn mowers, and playing cards. The Canadian tariffs come after the Trump administration imposed a 25% tariff on imported steel and 10% tariff on aluminum.
Canada has no choice but to retaliate with a measured, perfectly reciprocal dollar-for-dollar response.
Well, Canada's tariffs on U.S. goods got into effect Sunday. German Chancellor Angela Merkel announced the EU president will be in Washington soon to talk about preventing a trade war.
A Norwalk man was arrested today on charges he threatened to kill the family of FCC chairman Ajit Pai. Prosecutors say Makara Man sent threatening emails to Pai in December. He was upset about Pai's role in repealing net neutrality regulations. Now, if convicted, the man I should say, could get up to 10 years in prison.
Well, next here at 5 o'clock, find out who in Southern California was just given $30 billion.
Here's a hint. It wasn't us. Plus, more than a dozen people forced out of an LA apartment building because of asbestos contamination.
But wait, was it actually asbestos after all? We'll tell you what we have learned.
And attacked inside a Taco Bell, but you will not believe why security cameras didn't capture the assault.
You guys might not have gotten a slice of that 30 bill, but I'm driving a new Lambo and it's right out there.
Oh, where's that lightning bolt?
Coming up, the weather's on the way.
Just like